Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Dominick from the Comic Book Report YouTube channel over here doing another guest review for organicpricedbooks.com. And today I'm back doing a Marvel Omnibus overview that I cannot wait to dive into. That's right, today we're looking at Spider-Man by Zdarsky Omnibus, and I had a blast with this one. Before I start talking about it though, a couple quick facts about this book. The issues in this volume were written by Zdarsky and illustrated primarily by Adam Kubert, Mark Bagley, Pasquale Ferry, and more. The comics in this volume were published by Marvel Comics beginning in 2017. The volume itself collects Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, issues 1 through 6, 297 through 310, Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Annual Number 1, Spider-Man Life Story, Issues 1 through 6, Spider-Man Life Story Annual Issue 1, Spider-Man Spider Shadow, Issues 1 through 5, and material from Free Comic Book Day 2017, Secret Empire. And this is an oversized hardcover edition with nice glossy print paper stock, a sewn binding, and a total of 936 pages. Now that I've talked to you a little bit about the book, let's go ahead and look at the build itself. So let's look at the front cover of this omnibus. Here I have the standard edition cover, which is clearly a awesome Superman homage, but there are two direct market covers for this omnibus. I'll go ahead and throw up quick thumbnails of both so you can see what they offer and you can kind of compare and find the collection that's best for you. I'm actually a fan of all three covers, but the standard edition cover, as a Superman fan, I just think is unbelievably great. Taking a look at the spine, we have a great kind of baby blue field with some white text. I really like that. The image I have on my dust jacket also has the symbiote Spider-Man. I believe each cover has a different little image here on the spine, but this is the one for the standard edition. All looking really sleek here. I love the overall color scheme and kind of design work we get for this omnibus. A lot of baby blue, white, and a bright red. You'll see that even as we transition over to the back cover. It showcases all of those colors in a way that I'm describing. And yeah, I just think it's really evocative and interesting. It definitely really goes more for that Chip Zdarsky cover, even more than the standard or that J. Jonah Jameson direct market. I think that cover by Chip Zdarsky with the blue and red Spider-Man probably makes this dust jacket look the most uniform, but I will say the spine and back having consistency and then that great Superman homage is perfectly good with me as well. And now let's spend a minute, we'll zoom out and I'll show you the whole dust jacket at a glance for the standard edition cover one final time. This time, of course, including those interior flaps, which are more bright blue with white text, giving a little bit about the book, creators, things like that. Nothing too spectacular there, but do want to do one final look at that. And then we'll go ahead and transition to the under the dust jacket artwork printed on the hardback book itself. Now the hardback book is a field of that bright red color with white kind of character imagery, Spider-Man kind of fighting some of his villains, just kind of outline work, but really well done. This is a really stylish piece, unlike some other modern omnibuses that have a print of maybe a fight sequence or a big kind of wraparound from the book itself. This is more kind of design centric, and I really liked that. It feels like a little bit more of an art piece, and I think it lends some diversity in my collection. I don't really have a ton of omnibuses that have actual board printed art quite like this. It's stylish and cool. I think the closest thing I have is maybe the Thing Omnibus did something similar. But anyway, I think this is well designed. And now for all you prospective collectors out there, a quick look at the binding. As I mentioned, this is a sewn binding. My copy had a nice little eye there. I didn't have very much gutter loss, which I was happy to say. I think this book, at least my copy, was extraordinarily well bound, and I for one have no complaints there. Really well done, Marvel. Alrighty, now that we've wrapped up talking about the build of the book, the exteriors, the binding, we can jump into the collection proper, and I cannot wait. After some end pages, title page, publication information, we do have a kind of creator page where we see everything that's included and the creators attached to it. This is the closest we get to a proper table of contents. This book isn't really numbered, so we don't really have a numbered table of contents, but that front page or two will give you kind of a mapping of everything that's included in the book. Talking about what's included in the book, I will say this is a diverse and fun collection that is essentially all of Chip Zdarsky's written work for Spider-Man here collected. To simplify it, I would say this collection really feels divided into three distinct parts. We start in the beginning of this book with his entire run on Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, which feels like just kind of a run-of-the-mill Spider-Man run, but it's done exceptionally well. There's a lot of Zdarsky's trademark humor, and he just really understands this character and what makes this character work. It's fun, it's upbeat, there is a surprising amount of tragedy and heart in a few moments, but everything just runs so smoothly. This was probably the most fun I've had with a conventional Spider-Man run in a long time. Really loved that first part of the book. After that, we transition over to Spider-Man Life Story, which I used to own in a standalone oversized hardcover graphic novel kind of edition, but it's included in this omnibus, and wow, what a treat. In my mind, this is the peak storytelling in the collection. It's essentially a kind of parallel universe or kind of imagining of what if Spider-Man aged chronologically after he was bitten by the radioactive spider in the 60s. And what Zdarsky did here, teaming up with the prolific Spider-Man artist Mark Bagley, is we weave this story that starts in the 60s when Peter Parker is a teenager in high school, and we get every issue in this series is another decade in Spider-Man's life. And we have Zdarsky cherry-picking some of the essential storylines from that decade of Spider-Man's bibliography and kind of remixing it, putting it all together in a way that makes sense, and we have Peter Parker aging up throughout the issues. I think that this was an extraordinarily creative way to explore the breadth of, well, Spider-Man's life story. I think for fans of our favorite wall crawler, this is a quintessential modern Spider-Man classic that really pays homage to so many incredible eras in Spider-Man's history, going from the 60s all the way through like the 2010s. It's really an impressive piece of work. But even if you're a new Spider-Man reader, there might be enough here to show you why so many people love this character. And after Life Story, we have the final part of this book, which is that Spider-Man Spider Shadow little mini-series. It's a 5-issue little kind of graphic novel, you can think of it, at the end. It's not in the main continuity either, and it essentially asks the question, what if after Peter Parker had the symbiote suit and got it examined by Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four and found out it was a living organism that was trying to kind of parasitically, symbiotically link with Spider-Man, what if instead of getting rid of the costume, what if he had kept it? What would have happened to Peter Parker, his psyche, as the corruption kind of invaded his mind, and what would happen to the world after that? That's really what this miniseries explores, and it does a tremendous job. This was another absolute highlight of this already stellar collection, and that really helps land the plane of the book. I really loved all three distinct parts of this book, but I think with all of them together, you get so much variety in this single collection. And if the Spider-Man run didn't work for you, maybe one of those graphic novels will, and vice versa. I like that we got it all here. I think another thing I enjoyed about this is that in addition to Spider-Man, one of the main characters that seems to be spotlighted throughout each of these narratives is actually J. Jonah Jameson. If you're a fan of that character, I can think of no better run that explores that character than what we got here by Chip Zdarsky. This was an absolute treat from cover to cover. Skipping ahead a little bit to the back of the book, I wanted to also conclude saying this book has a wealth of extras. I was absolutely spoiled at everything this omnibus packed in, including an incredible cover art, variant cover art gallery. We got some wonderful full-size reproductions of these different covers from not only his run on Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, but things for Life Story and Spider Shadow as well. We also have some great kind of behind-the-scenes sketches, artwork design. We have a little bit of blurbs or notes from Zdarsky and some of the team here exploring what they plan to do, a little bit behind the scenes stuff on the Spider-Man Life Story, for example, as well. Really just so many extras here. This was a personal treat for me. I really like Chip Zdarsky. I love Spider-Man. I already enjoyed Life Story. The rest of this was totally new to me before reading this collection. So finishing this book with all of these extras, all of these great variant covers, I really loved it. It was such a great capstone to an already already great book. I know for me, as a omnibus collector and a fan of collected editions, I love the kind of special features or bonuses we sometimes get at backs of collections. There's such a range, though, you never really know what you're going to get, but I will say, after personal experience, and as you can see flipping through here, this is an omnibus that is loaded with extras. I was beyond satisfied and just really pleased with how Marvel brought this collection to a close. And now that we've reached the end of the book, I will say, if you're interested in picking up your own copy, please check out organicpricedbooks.com. See if you can snag this before it goes out of print. I don't think you'll regret it. If you're anything like me, this was a must-read. And if you're interested in a fuller review of this omnibus that goes into a bit more spoilers and just more details about the book, please check out my channel, The Comic Book Report, for that video. Thanks to everyone for sticking around. This was a ton of fun to review. Have a good one.